All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 3 of the Stratocast.
Give them the guns.
Give them the guns.
Technically, we're not live. We are recording.
Yeah, we're not live at all. We just like to say that.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Just you wait.
We'll get there. So I'm here with my friend Brennan Bruce today to feature in episode 3. The episode is supposed to all be kind of about goal setting.
Yep.
And Bruce really wanted to talk about that topic. He was the one with the idea and everything. So here he is. Bruce, what do you got to say?
Well, setting goals has been a really big change in my life over the last year and a half and everything. I was introduced to goal setting in October of 2016. Mostly, I'd say primarily from a company, which was Legcore, and then a gentleman named Corey O'Leaf.
Most of us think that we were introduced to goal setting in school, but we were, right? We were.
Yeah.
No one takes it seriously.
Yeah.
At all.
That's the thing, is there's many ways to do things. But there's ways to do things good, right? And what I wanted to talk about is how I've been able to learn how to efficiently set goals and actually achieve your targets and everything. Because writing something down on a piece of paper is great, but if you crumble that piece of paper up and throw it in the recycling like I did in grade 4.
Yeah, exactly. that is what happens in school. They just plug your shit in the recycling. Oh my god.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's what I want to get at, my idea is it's more about the mindset. Which is kind of what it is. If you're just going to throw that piece of paper you just wrote away, that's exactly the mindset. You're throwing away your own goals.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, that's a kind of a metaphor for it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I think, and something I've talked to you a lot about before, but I really wanted to get this out of the way, is there's a lot of stigmas with goal setting. Because obviously with goal setting, people really quickly associate success. And when people hear success, I've noticed a lot of people, the emotion that comes out is jealousy. Or envy, the evil eye, and stuff like that. And why I wanted to bring this up is because a lot of people confuse the definition of the word, right?
With goal setting?
Yeah, well, no, with success.
With success,
right? And
of course.
That's where. And so we've talked about this a little bit before.
What we talked about.
So I wanted to get this out there. And so the definition of success is to achieve an aim or purpose, right? Yeah. That's the Merriam-Webster definition.
And one of my favorite quotes is from Buddha.
Okay.
The purpose in life is to find your purpose. Just like that. You're just going to find your purpose, you know? And that's what success is. If you're doing something meaningful and you think that's your purpose, that's successful.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It could mean something else to other people.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, why I bring up the stigma is, doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter this, but it matters is you're happy. If you're happy, you're successful. It's well, that's not actually true unless your aim or purpose is to achieve happiness.
Yeah.
If your aim and purpose is to achieve happiness, then I would consider you very successful if you're a very happy person. But if your aim or purpose is to say, travel the world, is to start a podcast, is to make $100,000 in a year, but you're really happy, I wouldn't say you're successful. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So, I really wanted to confront that stigma because over the last year and a half, I've been battling with a lot of people that get hard down on the success train because I don't know, for some reason when I hear the word or when other people hear the word, I feel like it has a negative connotation to it.
Yeah, definitely. Some people find they just get jealous. I think it's big with that jealousy, especially with our age, especially with young men. That's easier for them to get jealous, and it's easy for a lot of people to get jealous.
Young men and women. Yeah,
exactly, and women. It's easy to get jealous because a lot of people just don't know what they want to do, and they just don't have it. They just don't know. They just don't really have it. They just don't have a clue, and they just don't. And they're just jealous when other people have clues of even have the slightest inkling of an idea of their right path and the destination that they want to go towards because they wish they knew where they wanted to go. Just setting goals. Just having those goals and working towards it, they're jealous of that because they don't have goals of their own.
Yeah. It's really tough to see because a lot of people see the glamour of the goals, you know what I mean? Because of course...
social media these days.
Yeah, social media is exactly what I was going to say. So, people constantly, whether it's their old friends or colleagues or whoever it may be, they're constantly seeing the best of everyone's life, right? They're constantly usually.
You don't see the worst.
Yeah, you definitely see the worst.
A social media app where you only post the shittiest things, just got dumped, and then just post oh man, I just am so sick today. That'd be funny.
Well, McLean actually told me.
App.
You can invent that because if any of you guys personally know Strats, which I'm sure all of you do, most of our audience knows us.
That's true.
Strats, you're like one of the most satirical people ever. But McLean told
People
me
don't
a really...
get me.
People told me, or McLean told me a really interesting fact about Twitter. Because it only gives you up to so many characters, I think it used to be 140, now I think it's 200.
Yeah, it's bigger.
So there's I can't remember exactly how he explained the study, but basically it forces you to be negative because you can't converse, you can only give your statement, right? You know what I mean? Like, so
With
you can only...
Positivity?
Well, no, it's not exactly that. It's just like I can't converse with you, I can't debate, right? Because there's not like a big... Because I can't write paragraph on paragraph. I only have to write really bullet point form of like, this is what I think.
That was the idea before.
Yeah.
This is the idea of starting a more conversation.
Well, I was just kind of saying, in relation to there should be a satirical app. Twitter, out of all of them, apparently is the most negative because of that reason.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't had Twitter in a long time.
Yeah, you've been off for
really
a couple
long
of years.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just didn't like it that much. I want to try to get into it because of the job. That's a good segue. I'm actually started working with my good friend Parker Bowles the last couple of weeks, with Bishop's Media Marketing here on the island. That's a social media group that we're starting to get a lot of influence.
We just made $100,000 on advertisement right there.
Maybe we did. Who knows? That's the value of the eyes seeing this podcast right now. That's totally huge because I have so many viewers. What is this, episode 3? Episode 2 was huge.
Episode 2 is awesome.
I liked episode 2.
There's pilot episode 1, and then episode 2 with Logan, who's a guy we've been wanting to podcast with forever, because I'm sure the people that watch that realize, holy smokes, like, if you've ever spent a night with this guy can tangent for hours, and if you just listen, if you just let him connect all the dots, there'll be a lot of stuff where you're thinking, you're like, dude, where the fuck are you going with this?
It does.
But he will connect the dots.
It does make sense. You're like, oh yeah, it's just a metaphor for something else. Mm-hmm. Often it's a metaphor, stuff like that. I love the guy to death. Like I said, he inspired the whole thing. It was because of him.
And Joe Rogan.
And other people. Yeah.
I
made a vlog where I was gonna talk about that. I noticed I mentioned all my inspirations, but I didn't end up making that because of technical issues, because I'm a rookie here. But that'll come. A vlog thing will come. But that's when we get on YouTube. I want to do vlog stuff. I want to do a bunch of stuff. So like we talked in the intro, we talked about some of the other stuff that we want to do with the action figures and whatnot. Mm-hmm. That's some of the goals that we have for this year.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And speaking of goals, so I kind of want to explain a little bit about more or less how to do them, what you can expect in a certain period of time. Because there's a quote that, people overthink what they can do in a year, but they expect what they can do in 5. Whereas I actually think that's bullshit. I think people I'm not using the right word for it at all.
I just want to jump in there for a second when you say when they expect something.
Yeah.
I think the big thing with goals, I say it a lot. Maybe people have heard it, but it's to have really, really high standards with low expectations. Like, set yourself up for success, but don't expect success. But set yourself up for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Take those actions, set yourself up, but don't expect it to yield the biggest reward in the universe, and don't be disappointed when nothing happens at all, because probably nothing will. Yeah. That's what you should be expecting in the first place. And that's kind of the mindset, where the mindset comes into play. Yeah. The other thing is make sure your actions align with your long-term values.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's again that's the mindset to have when you take those short-term actions. Right. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind they need to be aligned with those values to set in the right path to your goals.
Well, yeah, that's one of my favorite quotes you've ever said, and that really aligned with the culture. You remember when I made that thing that had like culture, strategy, so on. Can you say the quote again?
There's 2 of them. So it's like, make sure your short-term actions align with your long-term values.
Write that down.
Yeah.
People.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's the mindset to really kind of focus you on a path of goal setting. I kind of realized that today when I was thinking about the topic we were talking about, which because I don't write a lot of goals per se, but I do write every day, and I try to write what I want to get done in that day, and I try to criticize myself, not too harshly, because that's not the right idea either, but I work with it, right? Every day I'm trying to be aware of what my short-term actions are doing, the consequences, and aligning with my long-term values, and that has helped a lot. And another thing I thought about lately is because I've been doing that a lot lately, I felt like I've literally been running headfirst into a lot of coincidence. And it might sound weird, but like things have just been aligning just perfectly. Yeah. Just things, it's been so weird. I got fired from one of the best jobs I've ever had being a tow truck driver after just getting rid of my N and getting my full license. Got fired from that thinking that was terrible, but it ended up being really like the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah.
And I got that job because I met Logan, and a bunch of other weird, strange coincidences led me to that job in itself. Yeah. And I got this job, which led me to my friend Parker Bowles, which is kind of why everything is happening right now, and it's just wild.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, a lot of it is because you had a great mindset about it. Like, you know, I'm pretty sure right off the bat, like, even though you lost, and like you said, it was one of the best jobs you've ever had.
Yeah.
As soon as you lost it, I remember talking on the phone with you, and you're like, it's okay, it's all good, I'm going to find another job. And then I actually sent you the link for the job you ended up getting, right?
Isn't that crazy? Like,
so
every little thing I keep thinking about, like that, is like just so fucked up. It's beyond fucked up.
Yeah.
And like the job I got, I was going door to door for like charity, like helping girls that are getting like mutilated, female genital mutilation stuff was the biggest thing that they're trying to fight against. And then the day I got that job, I go home, listen to the new Joe Rogan podcast, and guess what? Joe Rogan starts talking about female genital mutilation.
Really? Yeah. Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
And he's never talked about that shit before, and I just thought that was so fucking weird again.
The universe works in mysterious ways.
There's so many signs. It's so mysterious, man. And me and Logan were talking about this alone one time when there's some people, like I find the universe has a way of balancing it. Like no matter what happens, the universe will try to hold some people up that they know they have a kind of like a fate or a destiny that'll just kind of, the universe will like do stuff around it to like just like keep them up, hold them up as long as possible. So they can find like a way, a thing going on, because that's how me and Logan both kind of felt. How we met each other too, right? The universe kind of like just like willed it to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it might be a little bit because of goal setting.
Fuck yeah! I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I will. I need some water.
Yeah. So, and that's a really good take on it. I have some things of why it's important to set goals. So one of the big reasons why it's important to set goals and write them down, and you're gonna freak out at these statistics. There's some serious statistics. So only 3% of people, and this is based on American-based study, so just America, only 3% of people actually write their goals down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So as soon as you become a person that writes their goals down, no, you're as soon as you're in the 3%, eventually at the top 10 percentile, right? So you're above average. You are uncommon. Now, and then one of my favorite, I think this was a David Goggins quote. I'm not sure. Amongst uncommon people. Yeah, be uncommon amongst uncommon people, right? That's where I'm going to talk about how to accelerate those goals, how there's basic writing down your goals, and how you can really Grant Cardone, so to speak, 10x.
That makes sense, Bruce. I like that.
Right?
I like what you're selling to me right now.
So check this out. Everyone's goals you usually see a bunch of new goals start around New Year's.
Of course, right? I had a goal. What was my New Year goal? Oh, it was to not have sugar. To like stop drinking sugar. I had a bunch of goals and none of them worked out. By February, it's just ridiculous.
92% of, once again, American-based study, 92% of people fail their goals by January 15th.
I made it past 15th, guys. I definitely made it past 15th. Didn't make it past 31.
Right? So, I mean, that's why there's and everyone has a different way of doing it. I've just been goal setting for, like I said, about a year and a half now, and I found a way to be, like right now I'd say I'm uncommon, and I've been 10x, right? I've been uncommon amongst uncommon people, and right now I'd say I'm uncommon because I do proactively write my goals down and stuff. Yeah. So that being said, I had a few rules for goal setting. Just kind of like what you need to do. So first and foremost, and these are just kind of my guidelines. Yeah, they're definitely, I'm not making rules for anyone.
Everyone loves rules, Bruce. What are you talking about?
Goal set! So one of them, the first one, the biggest one too, is writing them down.
I like that rule.
Yeah, so write, read, repeat.
That's definitely a good rule.
So write, read, repeat. And I can't emphasize this enough. There's a lot of science behind writing versus typing. If you're someone that really likes typing stuff, there's just write the goal down.
I write fucking everything. I'm really passionate about writing. That's why I just write every day, just because I feel like the more I write, the more good ideas I'll just catch on paper. And Joe Rogan says that a lot as well.
Yeah.
That's totally true.
Well, that's 100% true, because, your cerebral cortex will actually catch that and say, wait, no, pay attention. You know, you can definitely tell your texting, if not for autocorrect, would be a lot more sloppier than your writing.
Yeah.
Bar none. Like, you feel like miles between, right?
And I got an idea the other day, and I'm like, oh, I gotta write that down. And like, oh, I'm gonna write something down. I'm gonna write it down later, so I won't write it down right now.
Yeah.
And when I did try to remember it and write it down later, it was just so much harder.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
Yeah.
But I did do it, but God, it was hard.
No, everyone's different. See, for me, writing stuff down is like, that's my number one that goes for it. And I say read, too. Some people, they learn through here. Well, read it out loud. Write your goals down. Read them out loud to yourself.
That's cool.
Right?
Yeah, you can do that.
So write, read, and then repeat. And then so other people are really visual. So what I like, a lot of people I know have like dream boards. Now, once again, this is for if you want. This is dependent completely on how you learn. But if say one of your goals is to travel the world, put a poster of where you want to travel to. And so you can look at that and say, that's where I want to be. Yeah,
that's totally, because that kind of that's something that I wanted to say too, is the goal setting itself can be very flexible.
Yeah.
That can go into so many, that's very broad, the goal setting. But again, it's the mindset in mind with all the stuff that you're doing with that goal setting with. You have the mindset, you're trying to set your goal, maybe you don't write it, but you do make that vision board. Maybe you have a whiteboard where you draw all your shit. You have like graphs, you have pictures, you have messages every day. They're like, don't eat carbs, you fat fuck. Because that's what I did.
Yeah. Attaboy. Scott's lost like 80 pounds over the last couple of years, hey?
Well, actually like 100 pounds, a round number. So like that's yes. It's going further. People can't even recognize me anymore. It's weird when I show up to like football practices where my old friends are and they're like, who's that weird guy on the field?
It's Strat.
They recognize me eventually, but yeah, enough about me. Come on.
That brings me to rule number 2.
Oh, rule number 2.
We got rule number 2.
That's exciting.
This one's big too. It's dates and deadlines, and they're two different things, right? So a date, a deadline is okay. When do I want to achieve this goal? Like bottom line, and date is having that in between bracket, right? So it kind of gives you a bit more flexibility, like you said, of which you can maybe alter this goal or change it or anything like that. But having an absolute deadline is really important for sure.
Important. That's something I struggle with. I don't set deadlines at all.
Yeah, and so certain things to help you with these is phone calendar reminders. So at the halfway point, quarter way, whatever however it works for that goal specifically. If it was a weekly goal, I would set a reminder once a day on my phone. Let's say I wanted to try intermittent fasting for a week. Well, I would set an alarm from the time I can eat to the time I couldn't eat. Now, how much more successful do you think you'd be with that goal if you did something like that?
Definitely, exactly. That's like if you go out try to make sales all day. If you make a daily goal or a weekly goal, it's a lot more likely you're going to make that goal if you just don't make any goal at all.
100. Whoa, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy. It's as easy as that, and that's the kind of thing about just putting your will out into the universe. And the thing with the universe, that's probably half the thing I didn't say. When the universe is trying to hold those people up, and it has it manifestates, right? You can manifest.
There you go.
Your will into the universe just by having the right mindset and just writing the shit down. If you just write the shit down in your paper and notebook, you're gonna start doing that, and the shit's just gonna start happening, and you don't even realize it. The thing is, you won't even realize it, but things will be happening, and then you'll be like, and you'll think about it later, and you'll be like, what the fuck? Like I just did earlier. This shit's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did get that Toys R Us job, but maybe I set a goal and I'm gonna get a job. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, at that point in our lives, not just yours, but maybe a little bit more yours, our goals were very loose.
Yeah, definitely.
I gotta go get a job. It was anything I could take. Now think about, okay, I gotta get a job in sales. I want it to be in automotives. I want it to be with this earning potential. Then shit gets real, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So third rule and I think it's the last one I have written down there is have an accountability partner or tool. Now, so accountability partners for me, I'm a strong believer in the triangle, so have a group of 3. Have a group of...
what the fuck? What do you do with the triangle? What are you going to do with the triangle? I get it now.
But have a group of 3, and, it could be people you're trying to achieve the goals with. It could be people you're not gloating, but just sharing sharing, oh, hey guys, like I just want to let you guys know this is what I want by this date. And you know, whether your accountability partners are like Strats, where they might just razz you, be like, hey Bruce, you got that goal yet? You suck, you don't have it done yet. That's gonna be
shit.
a way. And I know like one of my friends, like Jess, she told me, I think like a year ago, she said the only reason she announces things like to the world is to like hold her accountable to actually do it, because she's like, fuck, I've already said it.
That makes sense.
Right? So it puts that social pressure. So yeah, have an accountability outlet. Of however, you know, like for me, my guy was McLean and Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
That was my triangle. McLean would have been on this side here if I'm on the right. A group of 3 of us, and then Forrest was, you know, at the time he was my manager, so he was a guy I could really channel, seek for advice for, you know, how can I set these goals. And McLean would be really good at micromanaging little things like going to the gym.
Yeah, and you know what, that rule for accountability can actually be used in a very broad sense as well, not just for your personal goals, but say you have a business, and say you have that, you gotta be accountable, right? How are you gonna hold your business accountable? Yeah, you could like I gotta do something. Like what am I gonna do? I want to do this event. Like you promote that event on social media, that people will see that. Again, like what Jessica said, if people hear it, you already said it on the internet. Yeah. So you gotta come through with that shit and make it as good as possible. Have those really high standards with those low expectations. Yeah. And bam, you got yourself a fucking.
You got yourself a goal there, Sonny.
That's just awesome.
Good old fashioned goal.
Exactly, good old fashioned goal. I like it.
Yeah, man. So, and another thing too is, and you're gonna agree with this big time, maybe not on one sense.
Fuck you.
But so there's and this is something I struggle with. Is it actually really damaged me in my goal setting thing. Up. So intrinsic and extrinsic goals. Okay. So intrinsic are goals that align more so with your values. So with yourself, right? And that's why I like that quote so much. For example, a good intrinsic goal: wake up at 6:30 in the the every morning, 8 a.m. Whatever it is.
I used to be able to do that. I've been struggling.
No, you can still do it. Trust me.
But you have no idea how much I've been struggling to get up early.
I think I've been there, man. Like I think we've all been there. You know, hit snooze button like eight or 9 times.
It never used to be me, but the bed is just literally so comfy I don't want to get up.
But things like so intrinsic, I'd say, you know, keep a tab on X amount of people. If you feel like you're losing touch with certain people in your life, you know, reach out to 5 people, make a list of them, who they are, and how many times you want to reach out to them to improve your relationships.
A great.
Right? So that's an intrinsic goal.
And that can be one of your values. One of my values is relationships.
100%. Another one is going to the gym. And what's amazing about these goals, and as I explained extrinsic goals, I should have explained those ones first. What's amazing about these goals is, man, there's no better feeling than looking at yourself in the mirror, going to bed, whatever it is, knowing you've knocked down your intrinsic goals. Because at the end of the day, because your intrinsic goals align so far with your long-term values and your culture of who you are, then it is who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow. This is a great episode.
So now I got extrinsic goals. So extrinsic goals are often things that are material-based, monetary, that's really all I need. So for example, and I'll tell you why. I'll share the little story. My biggest extrinsic goal is I wanted to have a $5,000 paycheck. Why goal setting fucked me up is because most of my goals were extrinsic. I remember looking at my big goals, and I only had one intrinsic goal on there.
That's not
or actually 2. I had 2. It was losing weight and make an honest effort at a relationship. Okay, those were my 2. The extrinsic goal that fucked me up was I wanted to make a $5,000 paycheck. It was one paycheck. I wanted $5,000 after taxes. So I got that, and because I've put no focus and effort in my intrinsic goals, that extrinsic goal broke me down, man. It was one of the saddest days of my life. It was like, this is here, okay, great.
Oh,
yeah, that was it.
That's what Forrest kind of said when he told me about when he got that, like, house or, like, that crazy paycheck or something, right? He's just like, what, I want more. He just wanted more, or he's just like, what about the next house or some shit like that?
Yeah, well, for him, he was going through the same thing the first year. He was just, like, really in it for the money, and then his values really changed. Forrest is a really, really amazing guy.
Cool, cool.
But it's in now, and here's where the stigma comes in. is a lot of people heard me with these extrinsic goals, and not everyone needs to have them. No, I think monetary goals are extremely important. If you're doing anything where you're making money, you should have a goal. You should have a monetary goal to it.
That makes sense.
100%.
Because it's just
Otherwise,
relative to success. Not success, but
it's counterproductive.
Yeah,
if
it's
you don't
just
have
relative to progress, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. So extrinsic goals. I mean, you know, I'm not saying you have to be materialistic, but if you're it could be anything. It could be a plane ticket, right? That's an extrinsic goal. It could be it could be a
vacation,
a car, a vacation, new tapestry for your bed, new
camera,
bedding,
a
camera,
laptop,
microphone. These are all wonderful extrinsic goals.
Yeah, things that give you value, just things that really give good value in your life, and you can do something meaningful with them. Usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Not just a new wardrobe or some high heels or stuff like that.
Right.
Some video games, even though I love me some video games. However, I gotta stop buying them. Sometimes I really gotta be like, yo, you don't need Far Cry 5. And I haven't gotten it. I'm not gonna get it for a long time.
Especially video games depreciate so fast nowadays.
These days it's insane, so I'm just gonna wait, obviously, a long time until it's cheap as fuck.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so that's basically a big thing there, is intrinsic versus extrinsic rewards. I think it's really important. I think you balance them, right? I don't think one's necessarily more important than the other, because if you focus too much on your intrinsic rewards, just like the universe balance concept you were talking about, then your extrinsic things, which are things you do care about, like your camera, like your mic, like your laptop, will fall out of balance, right? And it will leave a void.
He's right about that. He's right about that again. This guy's good. This guy's good today, guys. This guy's got some good shit. And you know what? He's right. What would you say when you let that what the fuck is that word? What is it?
Intrinsic and extrinsic. So
when the intrinsic values, when you let that shit depreciate, your what the fuck, eh? The outside stuff, consumeristic bullshit. Like your valuable materials will suffer for it. That makes sense, because like there was a time where I bought that camera.
Yeah.
Then fucking I wasn't doing anything with it. I just bought it and I wasn't doing anything with it for a long time, probably because of fucking some stupid value shit. I wasn't working on myself enough nearly as much as I should have. Maybe I was going through a breakup at the time. It might have been something like that. So yeah, I just didn't do anything for the longest time, even though I had the camera that we're using that I recorded those first 2 episodes with. I could have been doing that shit a long time ago. I had that goal to make the podcast a long time ago. Could have done it a lot sooner, but I probably fucked up because I wasn't good enough in the inside.
Yeah.
That sounds harsh because on yourself, but it's the truth.
It is. So yes, yeah. It's harsh. And I forgot rule 4 because I didn't write it down.
Oh my god!
But just really last quick, because rule 4 is very, very, very important.
Okay, we're almost out of time.
We're almost out of time. So really quick, guys. Rule 4 is make your goal extremely specific.
Okay.
Extremely specific. How many times? One of my goals is I want to lose weight a lot for this year.
Yeah.
I want to be $199. I want to be 199 pounds. If you ask me how much I want to make this year, I'd have an exact figure for you. If make your goals extremely specific. Whether that's why dates kind of help. They kind of help balance that out, deadlines and stuff. Just make them extremely specific, man. Otherwise, you will. It's a half-ass job. You'll just get a half-assed job out of your goals.
Yeah, and that's not fun.
No one wants that.
It's not fun knowing that you could have easily achieved that goal when you like half achieved it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh great, I half achieved it. I could have easily fucking achieved that fucking goal.
I know every single one listening. I know you've gone through it. I know you've done it. Whereas like, man, that 10%. Whereas if you had that focus, you've had the deadlines, you have these rules and these tangibles applied to those goals, you definitely would have hit it, right?
Yes, definitely. That's a great way to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Bruce, that was awesome.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that podcast. We're going to be doing next episode we have.
Oh, yeah, our next episode. Our next episode, guys. We're going to upload this one this whole weekend. We're making lots of content. We got Warren Argatov. I don't know if I should say his name, but I just did. He's coming with us. And we got another episode with Logan